Hey there, beautiful spicy ladies. I'm so glad you're here. I mean that from the heart. Whether you've been riding along with me on this journey for a while or you just stumbled across this video out of curiosity, I want to say welcome. You're exactly where you need to be. This is a space for all my smart, strong, emotionally intelligent women out there who aren't just looking for a fling. They are after something real, something deep, something that lasts. So, let's dive into a topic that doesn't get enough airtime, but hits us all right in the feels. You know those quiet, tender moments in bed when it's just you and him? The kind where time slows down, the noise of the world fades away, and you're not putting on a show, you're just being. That's when it happens. He leans in close, his voice soft, and whispers something unexpected, something that shifts the air. In that moment, you're not just two people sharing a physical connection, you've stepped into emotional intimacy. That's what this video is all about. The things men whisper in bed when they are not just into you physically, not just having a good time, but when they are deeply in love. Guys might not always wear their hearts on their sleeves in the daylight, but when they feel safe, when they feel truly seen by you, that's when their real feelings slip out in the most intimate ways. So, if you've ever wondered what's really going on in a man's heart when he's all in, not just with his body, but with his soul, stick with me. The next few minutes are going to change how you hear those little whispers forever. Let's get started. First up, I don't want this moment to end. Now, this might sound like something straight out of a rom-com, but when a man says this in bed and means it, it's anything but a throwaway line. Think about it. A guy who's just in it for the physical isn't trying to stretch out the moment. He's already thinking about what's next, maybe even how to make a smooth exit. But a man who's in love, he's right there with you, fully present. He's not checking the clock or planning his next move. He's soaking in every second of being with you. Your energy, your warmth, the way you make him feel emotionally grounded, it's all hitting him hard. When he whispers, "I don't want this moment to end," he's not just talking about the closeness of your bodies. He's talking about the emotional high of being with someone who makes him feel whole. What's so special about this is that you've created a space that feels safe, connected, and rare for him. It's not just about the physical spark, it's about trust. In that moment, you've become his sanctuary, his escape from the chaos of the world. You're his peace. And here's the deeper layer. When he says this, he's showing you his longing for emotional permanence. He's not saying, "That was fun." He's saying, "I don't want to lose what I feel when I'm with you." That's love. That's him being vulnerable, laying his heart out there. Men aren't always taught how to express their emotions clearly. They don't always have the words to say, "I feel so connected to you," or "You make me feel alive." But in those quiet moments after intimacy, when the walls come down, the truth spills out. "I don't want this moment to end" is his way of saying, "This isn't just physical to me, this is something I want to hold on to." For all my spicy ladies out there who crave real connection, who aren't about to hand your heart to just anyone, these words are a big deal. They are a sign you're not being used or seen as just a good time. You're being cherished for your mind, your soul, the way you show up emotionally. That's the kind of intimacy that grows into lasting love. So, next time you hear those words or feel that kind of moment, don't let it slip by. Pay attention. Because when a man's truly in love, he's not rushing to move on. He's melting into the moment with you, wanting it to last as long as it can. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and join our amazing Spicy Lady Soulful Intimacy by using Spicy Lady Technique and psychology quotes about life, where we uncover the secrets of love, intimacy and relationships, and everything in between. Hit that button and let's grow together. Alright, spicy ladies, let's move on to the second thing a man might whisper in bed when he's deeply in love. "You make me feel safe." Now, this one might catch you off guard because we often think of safe as something women want in a relationship. Feeling physically secure, emotionally understood, all of that, which is so valid. But what we don't talk about enough is how much men crave that same sense of safety too, just in their own way. When a man's truly in love, one of the most vulnerable things he might say in that quiet, intimate moment is, "You make me feel safe." And trust me, that's a big deal. Let's break this down. Society often teaches men, whether directly or indirectly, that they've got to keep their guard up. They are supposed to be strong, unshakable, always in control. Emotional openness? That's not something they are usually celebrated for. They are praised for toughness, for keeping it together, even when they are crumbling inside. So, imagine what it takes for a man to find someone who doesn't expect him to be on all the time. Someone who doesn't measure his worth by his success, his bank account, or how perfect he seems. When he finds that person, what happens is pure magic. When he looks into your eyes after intimacy and whispers, "You make me feel safe," what he's really saying is, "I can just be myself with you." Think about how rare that is, not just in relationships, but in life. To find someone who sees through all the layers, accepts the real, unfiltered you, and loves you for it. That's everything. In that moment, he's not just giving you a compliment, he's confessing something deep. He's telling you that your presence doesn't just excite him, it grounds him. When he's lying there with you, holding you, wrapped up in that post-intimacy quiet, he feels like he's not alone anymore. The pressure's off. He doesn't have to keep proving himself or running from his feelings. A man only says this when he sees you as more than a fleeting thrill. You're someone who touches his soul, not just his body. He feels emotionally held by you. And that's so rare because most men don't get to feel truly seen without being judged. If he says this to you, you've cut through all the noise. You've reached a level of closeness where love isn't just about physical connection, it's about emotional surrender. And here's the powerful part. A man who feels safe with you transforms. He becomes more open, more giving, more consistent. He wants to show up for you because being with you doesn't feel like a test he has to pass. It feels like a place he can finally rest. So, if you hear those words, "You make me feel safe," don't brush them off as just a sweet nothing. Recognize them for what they are, a glimpse into his emotional world, a world he doesn't share with just anyone, a world he's inviting you into. In a society that pressures men to bottle up their feelings, if he can whisper this to you, especially in bed, when his heart is wide open, you're not just someone he's attracted to. You're his anchor, his safe space. That's where real love lives, and that's the kind of connection that changes everything. Alright, my spicy ladies, let's get into the third thing a man might whisper in bed when he's truly in love. "I've never felt this way before." When you hear this, it's not just a cute line or flattery, it's so much more. This isn't a pickup line, and it's not even really about the physical moment you're sharing. What he's doing is letting you peek into his inner world, a place he doesn't open up to just anyone. For a man to say, "I've never felt this way before," he's had to notice something different, something that's shaking him up in a way he can't quite explain. And that's something. It's you. Here's the real talk. Most guys have felt attraction before. A lot of them have been through infatuation. But a deep, emotional connection that catches them off guard. That's a whole different level, and it often hits them in moments like this. When the world quiets down, the adrenaline fades, and it's just the two of you, lying there, raw and real. That's when he realizes what his feeling is new, maybe even a little scary. When he whispers, "I've never felt this way before," what he's really saying is, "You're touching parts of me no one else ever has." This isn't about how good the moment is physically, it's about how safe, understood, and truly seen he feels with you. In a world that's always telling him to keep his guard up, to play it cool, to stay in control, you've become the one place where he can let go. Think about what that means. When someone says they've never felt this way before, they are not comparing you to others, they are describing a whole new emotional experience. And for a man, especially one who's used to being in charge of his feelings, admitting this is a risk. It's him saying, "I'm falling for you," and showing you a piece of himself he might not have expected to share. It's vulnerable, it's real, and it's a sign that you matter more than he thought you would. This isn't just about the physical connection anymore, it's emotional, mental, even spiritual. You're not just someone he's sharing a moment with, you're someone who's changing how he sees love, connection, and even himself. Men aren't always encouraged to dig deep into their emotions, especially when it comes to romance. So, when he says something like this, you're seeing him step into uncharted territory. He's not just reacting, he's feeling, and that's huge. Once a man feels this deeply for you, everything shifts. He doesn't just want you, he respects you, treasures you, and starts thinking about the long haul. His words get more open, his actions get more thoughtful, and he starts showing you the depth of what he's just discovered. You're not like anyone else he's been with. You don't need to hear, "I love you" to know he's falling. Sometimes it sounds like, "I've never felt this way before." If you're tuned in emotionally, you'll hear what he's really saying. "You're changing me." So, if you hear these words, don't let them slip by. They are not just a compliment. They are a confession, a doorway to something deeper that's already growing between you. Let's keep it rolling, spicy ladies, with the fourth thing a man might whisper in bed when he's deeply in love. "You're the only one I want." This one hits hard because in a world where distractions are everywhere, dating apps, endless swiping, attention pulling in a million directions, hearing a man whisper, "You're the only one I want," in that intimate, quiet moment is powerful. It's not just about exclusivity, it's about emotional focus. He's dropping his guard, setting aside his ego, and telling you, I've found what I've been looking for, you're it. Think about the weight of those words. You're the only one I want. He's not just saying, I want you right now. He's saying, I'm done looking. I don't need options. You're not a maybe, you're my yes. That kind of clarity doesn't come from a place of lust, it comes from something deeper. It's him seeing the real you, your quirks, your kindness, your strength, your softness, all of it, and being completely drawn in. When a man's in love, especially when he's ready for something real, this is his way of stepping up and making it clear, you're enough. Actually, you're everything. And there's something so grounding about that. So many of us worry about being just one of many, about being wanted but not chosen, or being good enough to chase but not to keep. So, when he says, you're the only one I want, he's giving you reassurance, not because you asked, but because his feelings are that certain. He's telling you his heart isn't chasing fantasies or novelty, it's locked on you. What's beautiful about this is that when he says this in bed, it's not coming from a place of performance, it's coming from presence. You've created a space where he feels connected, safe, and truly seen. You're not just someone he's sharing a physical moment with, you're someone he feels emotionally secure with. You've given him the freedom to open up in ways he might not have with anyone else. This isn't a guy who's still testing the waters. This is a man who's dived in deep and wants to stay there. The more emotionally safe he feels with you, the more he'll speak from his heart like this, not because he feels pressured to, not to flatter you, but because his love is real. Now, let's keep it real. Some guys might say these words without meaning them, using them to create a vibe or get something they want. But when it's genuine, you'll feel the difference. It won't come with strings attached, empty promises, or pressure. It'll come softly, sincerely, in that quiet moment when you're lying there together, no pretense needed. When those 6 words hit, you'll know he's not just choosing you with his body, he's choosing you with his heart. That's when you've moved past attraction and stepped into love. Real love always brings clarity, not confusion, not mixed signals, not half-hearted vibes, just a steady, calm truth. You're the only one I want. Alright, spicy ladies, let's wrap this up with the 5th thing a man might whisper in bed when he's deeply in love. I don't want this to ever end. When he says this, in that still, stripped-down moment where it's just the two of you, he's not just sharing a sweet thought, he's bearing a deep hope, a longing, a raw truth that might even surprise him as it slips out. I don't want this to ever end, is one of the most intimate things a man can say because it's not just about that night or the physical closeness. It's about what the moment means, the connection, the peace, the emotional safety of being with someone who truly gets him, who touches him not just with your hands, but with your energy, your heart. In that one line, he's saying, this feels like home. If you know anything about men, especially the ones who are used to keeping their walls up or always being self-reliant, you know how rare it is for them to feel like they can finally land. When he says, I don't want this to ever end, what he's really saying is, I've found something real, and I'm scared to lose it. There's a magic in lying next to someone and not wanting to move, not thinking about your phone, your to-do list, or tomorrow's plans, just being fully in the moment. When a man feels that kind of emotional stillness, that clarity of this is where I want to be, it doesn't just change his mood, it changes his whole perspective. Suddenly, you're not just someone he's enjoying, you're someone he's picturing a future with. Here's the deeper layer. Sometimes, when he says this, he's not just talking about that night, he's talking about you and him. He's thinking about the comfort, the laughter, the quiet moments, the way you touch his arm when you talk, the way your eyes soften when you look at him like he matters. With you, life feels lighter, more meaningful, more alive. In that moment, lying there together, nothing else exists, not his job, his past, his worries. You've created a space where all of that fades, leaving something men spend their lives searching for, a connection that's not about performing, but about peace. A connection that doesn't just excite, but anchors. When he feels that, and knows how rare it is, he'll whisper things like this because, maybe for the first time, he's not afraid to speak his truth. He doesn't want to lose what you have. Maybe he's not ready to talk about forever or put a label on things, but that whisper, it's the early seed of love taking root, raw and real. So, if he says this to you, don't brush it off. Hear what he's not saying out loud. This moment matters. You matter. I'm not ready to let go. When a man feels safe enough to say that, you're not just part of his night, you're part of his vision for something lasting. So, there you have it, 5 things men whisper in bed when they are not just physically into you, but emotionally invested, deeply in love, and maybe even a little overwhelmed by how much they feel. Here's the big takeaway. The words he says in those quiet, unguarded moments. When there's no performance, no audience, no need to impress. Those are the ones that reveal his heart. Not the late-night texts after a few drinks, not the flirty compliments when he wants something, but the soft, raw confessions that slip out in the dark. That's when his heart speaks. Your job isn't to cling to those moments, but to recognize them for what they are, signs of emotional intimacy, real connection. A man who's not just drawn to your body, but to your essence, the way you listen, the way you hold space, the way you love without losing yourself. Next time you hear a whisper that makes your heart pause, lean in, not with fear or attachment, but with awareness. Those moments tell you where he really stands. And if you're not hearing these things, if it's all surface level, all take and no give, maybe it's time to ask yourself, is this connection growing into something real, or just filling space? If this hit home for you, if it gave you clarity or made you feel seen, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend who needs to hear it, someone who's wondering if what she has is love or just convenience. And hit that subscribe button for more real, no-fluff relationship advice that empowers you to raise your standards, protect your heart, and attract the kind of love that doesn't just whisper sweet words. It builds something solid. Because you deserve more than attention, you deserve connection. And the man who's worthy of you won't just whisper in bed. He'll show up in real life, again and again, with his words, his actions, and his heart. Stay true to yourself. To all the spicy ladies, make life beautiful. See you in our next video.